boys and girls, well, today and tomorrow we're going to be working on adding numbers together. So today we're looking at lesson practice 117, and for tomorrow we'll be looking at lesson practice 118. So 118. So they're both having to do the same thing because in math it's really good to practice something more than once. So we're going to practice it 2 days in a row. So if you're watching me again on Tuesday, that's why. Or if you're watching me for the first time, if you're watching me again on Wednesday, my bad, then that's okay. And if you're watching me for the first time on Tuesday, that's awesome as well. So this is the video for both, just to kind of see what we're doing and just do it together, because it's the same thing. So we are working with adding, right? Now adding, we've done a little bit in class, but not a lot. So when we add something together, we're going to take one thing and we're going to combine them. So you do this all the time, you just don't think about it. You just do it. So for example, if you're thinking about how many more pieces of broccoli that you would eat before you get your piece of cake at night maybe, or if you're thinking about how many cars pass you during the day, or if you're thinking about how many crayons your sister has or brother has over how many you have. You do it all the time, you just don't realize it. So boys and girls, we're going to talk a little bit about it. So it's just combining numbers together. So we're going to use dominoes today to do it, because dominoes are super great at combining the numbers together. So I brought my dominoes with me, and I thought we could do a little bit together. So I'm going to show you how and what that means. So if you notice on the domino, it has kind of a, you can't see it super well when it's over this, but there's a line right here in the middle that kind of splits in half. So on our sheets it says how many dots are on each half. Now last week we talked about how halves are exactly down the middle, right? So we are talking about how a rectangle, and if you cut it in half, it's exactly the same size on either side, right? And same with a circle. You can cut a circle in half and you can have your right or left side, right? So we talked about that last week. So it kind of talks a little bit about that. And then it says how many dots are on each domino. So that's where you have to add them or combine them together. So boys and girls, it gives you the blanks below, and all we have to work on is the numbers. And I'll show you kind of what the blanks look like so we don't get confused. So below a domino, it has one line, this symbol, one line, this symbol, and a line. So boys and girls, that's all this is saying, is it's saying that this number, whatever it is, let's say it's 1, plus, or you're adding, is this symbol, that means addition, plus, let's just say a 1 equals what? So this symbol in the middle is adding. That means that you're going to add. That means you're going to combine the numbers together. And this symbol is equals to, which means what's your answer going to be? Is a good way to think about it. Is what your answer, you're always going to put your answer after those two lines. You're not going to put it at the beginning because that wouldn't make any sense, right? So if I had a 1 plus another 1 equals what? It equals 2. Good job, boys and girls. So that's all that those numbers mean. That's all that the lines mean at the bottom. It's just a place to put it and a place to show that you know what you're talking about, right? Because you want to be seen that you know what you're talking about. So I actually just did the first one together because I will show you that the domino on 117 for that problem looks just like that, okay? So it's kind of just like you're looking at the numbers. So boys and girls, there's a few ways to add. You can do it a few ways. You can think about it and just have maybe a number line in your head. That's a little bit more trickier for Miss Gish too. I'm not really good at adding sometimes. It's a little tricky. Or you can do it on your fingers if you need to. So if you had a 1 and a 1, you could look at it and say, whoop, how many do I have now? How many fingers am I holding up? 2, right? So it's still the same answer. It just is another way to think about it. Or since we have our dominoes, you can also just count the dots. So let's do this one. Let's see, let me get something where I can point to it. I'll use a pen. So if I had 1, 2 on this half, and I had 2 on the other half, let's count them already. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So we're adding. So I just counted them. So there's a couple ways to do these problems that you have on your sheet. You can count them, you can use your fingers, or you can use the dominoes, right? So let's do the next one together. Let's do the second one together. Okay, so this is what your worksheet looks like. You have the dominoes up here, and then you have that lines down here, right, with the adding and the equals to, okay? So it says, look at each half. So what do you have? What do you have on this side? 2, right? And what do you have on that side? A 1. Good job, boys and girls. And if you combine them, what would you get? Doing your way. If your way is to use your fingers, go for it. If your way is to count the dots, go for it. Good job, boys and girls. And boys and girls, there's another way to count the dots. If you need to circle them, 1, 2, 3. Go for it. Okay, boys and girls, so I got a 3 for that one. Good job, boys and girls. So it does get a little bit trickier with the bigger numbers. So I'm going to go down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to go down to the last one, number 6. Now, it doesn't have numbers on it, so if you just move down to underneath this one and find the one that I draw, then you'll be good to go, okay, boys and girls? I'm going to do that one with you, and then I'm going to let yourself challenge for the other ones, okay? And it's good to see if you can do it by yourself, right? So let's see. All right, find the one that looks like this on your paper. Find the one that looks like this. All right. So I want you, I'm going to pause for a second. You can pause me, but I want you to think about what that answer could be. You have a 6, and then you have a 1, right? You have a 6, and then you have a 1. So boys and girls, what we already know is what we can write on these lines. So we just go, even if it helps you, you can draw the arrow. And you go, oh, my 6 goes there, and my 1 goes there. And I'm going to do 6 plus, or adding, 1 equals. You can count them like this, or you can use your fingers. See if your board matches, or see if your paper matches, Miss Gish. Good job, boys and girls. I know this is a little bit more tricky, and I know this is something completely new, but you guys are going to do so good at it, and if you need help or other ways to do it, just let me know. And there's more other activities that you can do with adding below, and yeah. So I hope that you enjoy lesson practice 117 and 118. See you later.